Today we're looking at the 10 best suburbs to buy a house in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Now this list is coming to us courtesy of niche.com, which is factoring in and interpreting 12 meaningful categories. And spoiler alert, don't expect many internal cities to make this list. But now let's get to it and make sure to stay to the end where I'll give you my list of top 10 and compare it against the one that you're about to see, because an algorithm from niche.com can only take you so far. And the 10th best city to buy a house in the DFW Metroplex is Coppell, Texas. Coppell received an A+ grade, which is actually the highest score that niche.com gives. Now, given that my parish and my community group is in Coppell, I'm pretty biased. But being as objective as possible, I have issue with 3 categories. With housing, I would actually give that a B-, because housing is a little bit more expensive and the inventory is just not all quite there. Now, when it comes to crime and safety, I don't know where they got this stat, but I would bump that up to an A. There's very few cities that I feel more comfortable in than Coppell. And when it comes to the commute, it's actually in the center of the entire Metroplex. So I don't know where B+ came from. I would actually bump that up to an A as well. Now coming in at number 9, it's actually a hidden city that I'm gonna guess about 80% of you watching right now have no idea where it's at. And that city is Ovilla. It's a hidden gem that not many people know about. Now overall, the niche grade is an A. And as I look at the categories and knowing Ovilla the way that I do, I actually don't have much problem with any of these categories. The commute is a big challenge, especially in rush hour, because a lot of the roads that are leading into Ovilla are pretty much single lane. Now, if I was forced to nitpick one of these categories, then they would have to be in the jobs department. Because it's a small town with a population of just over 4,000 residents, there's really not that many jobs to go around. And now the 8th best suburb to buy a house in the DFW Metroplex goes to the city of Fate. Fate is located northeast of Dallas, right next to Rockwall. Now the overall niche grade for Fate was also an A. Now here's where I don't have that much issue with the individual grades. With nightlife, I would actually bump it a little bit lower, possibly in the C+. And from an outdoor activities perspective, I would actually bump it up to an A, possibly an A-. Now the reason I do that is because technically, no, there's not going to be as much organized parks or recreational areas. However, when I read outdoors, well, heck, you're as close to the outer part of the DFW Metroplex as you can get. So there's plenty of outdoor activities that you can go out and do. Now at number 7, we have the city of Lantana, which is located in the northern part of the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, just south of Denton. The overall niche grade for Lantana is an A+. And I knew right off the bat that I was gonna have an issue with this one. And as you can see from a crime and safety perspective, it doesn't even register on the map. It's that good, so why wouldn't they just put an A+? And from an outdoor activities perspective, I don't think they should be that harsh with the C+. I think it should be a strong B+ or an A-, because the entire city is pretty much surrounding a golf course. Now from a jobs perspective, you sure as heck need a good job to buy a house in Lantana, but you're not gonna find that many jobs there. Now before we get to number 6, I wanna take a brief moment and welcome you to the DFW Homeowner YouTube channel, the go-to real estate channel for the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. My name is Jaime Resendez, your local realtor and team leader, able to help you make money in real estate, whether you're buying or selling. And we're on a mission to reach every DFW resident. So if you're finding this video beneficial, please share it with your friends. Thanks. Now at number 6, we have the city of Argyle, which is actually neighbors to the city that we just came from of Lantana. Argyle is located north of the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, just south of Denton. Argyle received an overall niche grade of an A. Now Argyle is quite small with just about 4,300 residents, and overall, I don't have that much to say about the individual categories. The public schools rating is right on. The nightlife is right on. On the diversity category, I wouldn't be that harsh. I would probably give it a C+ or a B-, but I wouldn't be that harsh with diversity. And the same thing can be said for outdoor activities. I wouldn't be as harsh as a C+. So overall, this one's a bit deceiving because of all of the C grades. So this is one that you're gonna see drastically be recategorized when I give you my top 10. At number 5, we have another hidden gem in the city of Oak Leaf. Oak Leaf is a town of less than 2,000 people south of Dallas. In fact, it actually neighbors Ovilla, which is the city that we just previously covered. The overall niche grade for Oak Leaf is A-. Now this is also one of those cities that I don't have that much to say on. For all intents and purposes, this one's just about right. The only knock, if I absolutely had to, would go back to the same one that I had for Ovilla, which is the jobs department. I could bump that down to a B or a B-. Now at number 4, we have the city of Flower Mound. Flower Mound has almost 80,000 residents and is located in the northern part of the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. The overall niche grade for Flower Mound is an A+, which as a reminder is the highest grade that you can achieve on niche. And on this city, I would make a few adjustments. I would bump the B- in crime and safety to about a B+. And I would bump the nightlife down to a B-, although it has an incredible amount of restaurants. I'm still gonna knock that down a little bit. And from an outdoor activities perspective, I would actually bump that up to an A or an A+. It's next to the lake, for goodness sake. But now as we get to the top 3, I want you to do me a favor and pause this video and drop your guess down in the comments section as to which is the top spot to buy a home in the DFW Metroplex. So go ahead and pause it for a quick second and drop your guess down below. All right, so at number 3, we have the city of Highland Village. Highland Village has about 17,000 residents and is also located on the northern part of the DFW Metroplex. Now for this report card, I would bump up the outdoor activities to about a B- or a B. From a jobs perspective, I would bump that down to a B+. And the runner-up to the best city to buy a house in the DFW Metroplex goes to Trophy Club. Trophy Club has a population of 12,000 residents and is located directly north of Fort Worth. Now the overall niche grade is an A+, and the adjustments that I would make in the categories go as follows. I would change the outdoor activities to a B, I would change the nightlife to a B-, and I think the C+ on the commute is a bit harsh. I think that grade would be more warranted about 5 years ago, but today I would give it a B or a B-. All right, so we've been waiting for this one. What is the best suburb to buy a house in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex? This one's not going to shock many of you. It's Southlake, Texas. Southlake has a population of 32,000 residents and is located northeast of Fort Worth. And the overall niche grade is a very well-deserved A+. Now some adjustments that I would make would involve changing the outdoor activities to about a B+. From a crime and safety perspective, I would go to an A, and from a commute perspective, I would change that to about a B. So overall, there isn't much adjustment that I would make. It's a well-deserved A+, and most of the categories are pretty much in line where I would have ranked them. All right, so I promised you my personal ranking. So we're gonna list the top 10 that we have from niche.com, and now we're gonna introduce mine. At number 10, we have the city of Fate. At number 9, I went with Highland Village. At number 8, I gave it to Lantana. At number 7, I went with Oakleaf. At number 6, I went with Trophy Club. At number 5, I gave it to Ovilla. I'm really that bullish on it. At number 4, I stayed the same with Flower Mound. It's a solid pick. And at number 3, I alluded to it earlier. I gave it to Argyle. At number 2, I went with my hometown bias, which is Coppell. And at number 1, I just couldn't dethrone it. It had to be Southlake.